so today we're talking about Miss Marvel episode 5, which just recently dropped on Disney Plus. Today, I want to go ahead and first talk about, my thoughts going into the episode, and then it'll kind of give some context to my thoughts on this actual episode. So if you've been following my videos previously, you would know that it started out as a really, really great season of television. I love all the characters. I love the story. It's all been great. But as it's gone on, it's kind of gotten dull for me, I guess. Kind of lost its flavor that it had as like a John Hughes growing up, story, right? Coming of age story, I guess. That's the word I'm looking for. Phrase, I guess. Anyway, it started out great. And it has not stayed great for me, but I've still been excited to see the next episode. And, today I watched episode 5, and it started out very different from what I thought it would be. It was a flashback episode, sorta. We'll get into that in some spoilers, but, it tells the backstory of Kamala's ancestors, And for the most part, I thought it was handled really well. This isn't really a spoiler, but at the end of last episode, she's on that train station area that her grandmother was talking about, and we find out that this is, it's telling the story of her grandparents, or I guess her great grandparents, and we get to meet Aisha, her great grandmother, who we've kind of seen throughout the series so far, and then also we get to meet her great grandfather Hassan. These two are actually really good characters. I think their chemistry that they have is just wonderful. I really buy into their relationship and the fact that they have started a family that has gone on for generations now. I love their characters. Unfortunately, as the episode goes on, you lose that story. I mean, it goes back to present day stuff. I just do not like these, for lack of a better word, villains. Because they're not really the villains of the story, they're just kind of antagonists. I don't care for them. It's definitely the weakest part of the series for me. And it's kind of gone further. Just the fact that we now have one episode left. And, this story is going to be concluded. But I feel like we haven't really gotten very far in the story, if that makes sense. I mean, the first couple episodes were really character focused, and it was great. If you've seen my boys' reviews, you can check right up there. I love good character. Kamala is a wonderful character. Her whole family are all great. Unfortunately, the antagonists of the story are not. And we got great character the first couple episodes. Then the third and fourth kind of leaned a little heavier on these antagonists. It just feels like now, coming episode 5, we're not at the end of the season. This feels like we're just going into the third act. Like we're about to start the third act. We just kind of... This feels like a great mid-season finale, I guess, right? Like if this was a CW show, they had their mid-season finale somewhere around episode 10. You still have like 10 more episodes, right? This feels like that. And unfortunately, it's not. This was the penultimate episode. We have one episode left with so much story that I feel like should still be there. And we're going to have 30 minutes of television left to tell all this story. It's really unfortunate. And I'm not going to say that I don't like the show. I do. But it leaves me as a viewer feeling unsatisfied. We've got Kamala's family. We haven't seen her dad in 2 episodes now. we barely saw Kamala in this episode. That's a little bit of a spoiler, I know, but we barely saw Kamala in this episode at all. We have hardly heard from Bruno. What happened to that girl that wanted to be or actually is famous online? Like, what happened to that girl? Damage control. I don't know. She still hasn't really talked to her friend who, found out about her being that light girl, There's just so much that has to be done in 30 minutes. And I don't think it's going to be done in a way that's satisfying. Now, maybe they will. I pray that they have just this perfect way to end this. But if it's like any of the other Marvel Disney Plus shows, it's likely that it's going to be incredibly rushed and not satisfying. A finale, that is. And that's really disheartening because this show started out so strong. But I don't think this 6-episode thing they've got going on with all their Disney Plus shows works. I think, or at least it's just not structured the way that it should if it's going to be a 6-episode series. I think this probably would have worked better as a movie rather than trying to drag it out. Just structure it better. That's the issue. This is structured like a 9-episode series, but we're only getting 6. So we're getting 1 through 5, and now we're getting episode 9. There's just, you just can tell there's a lot they're missing, and it just leaves me unsatisfied. That's pretty much it. But anyway, those are just my non-spoiler thoughts on Ms. Marvel episode 5. Stick around if you want to hear me talk some spoilers, because I do want to talk about some of the interesting stuff that I did like about this episode, but we'll also talk about some stuff I didn't like. Anyways, if you aren't sticking around, go ahead and leave a comment down below what you are excited about if you haven't seen the episode yet, but you probably should by now. But yeah. Anyway, we're going to talk spoilers now. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now that we can talk some spoilers, I want to go ahead and talk about Kamala's great-grandparents. I thought their chemistry was wonderful. I really liked that line talking about, I'll break your leg. He's like, what, this one? I barely use it. I thought that was great. Just their little flirtiness throughout the beginning of that relationship I thought was good. I liked just how they seemed to be parenting Aisha's daughter, Kamala's grandmother. I can't remember her name. Anyway, I thought they seemed like good parents, very loving parents, handing off the bracelet. Can't remember what it's called, a bracelet, or it's a bracelet, right? Handing that off, I think it was good storytelling, I guess. Just like, this will keep you safe. And it goes into that story that Kamala's grandmother told about, I've got this bracelet and from my mother, and then when I got lost, it helped me find my father. And then it turns out that was actually Kamala all along. It was Agatha all along. It was Kamala all along that actually, led her the way to her father. So did Kamala actually time travel then? Did she go through the quantum realm? That's a little confusing. They didn't really, tell us more in detail of what was going on there. I just thought it was a weird dream sequence stuff. But yeah, I really liked that flashback, but it actually wasn't a flashback, it was a time travel. I liked that stuff. When we got into the present day stuff, when she wakes up, again, the antagonists of the story, those Jinn, they are not good characters. They just are very much mustache twirling villains. And they've opened up a rift to their world, I'm guessing, by stabbing the bracelet, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I don't know. I just don't like these villains. They're definitely the weak link of the story. And that's unfortunate because Marvel had gotten pretty good with their villains. You know, even watching Moon Knight, the villain of that was good, I thought. Or decent, I guess. It wasn't so much, it wasn't like, gosh, I can't even think of a bad villain right now. The Dark Elves of Thor 2. Not the best villain. But, yeah, that's pretty much the main negative. I'm excited for the finale. I am. I'm very cautiously optimistic of how they're going to handle it. Now her mother has found out that she's that light girl. I'm excited to see how that changes their relationship, although we've only got one episode to do that. Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll have more. I mean, we're going to have her in the Marvels, right? Captain Marvel 2. We'll have Kamala there, but whether her mother will be in that, I don't know. I do like just a little wink and nod. Like, I think it's her earring broke, and the showed it broke, and it had that little S thing that Miss Marvel has. And she's like, oh, okay, so they're setting that up. I mean, obviously they're setting that up, but I just thought that was a little interesting, funny little thing that I caught. Yeah, so those are my spoiler thoughts. You know, I did like the episode. I just didn't think that it was great. Not like it was at the beginning. It's definitely not a bad episode, though. That's the good thing. Anyways, until next time, my name is Mason, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.